First question then. How does Strava and Iron Man motivate consumers to complete challenges?
Yeah, I'll go first. There's quite a few different angles that Iron Man take on this. And the first is kind of looking at the reward and the achievement. So focusing maybe on like imagery of the medal and the finish line, and also user generated content like of people with their medal and kind of saying how happy they are that they achieved this. And people quite like to show off, especially if they've done an Ironman. It's like a pretty big deal. So one of our sayings is that you can brag for the rest of your life if you've done an Ironman. So we really kind of encourage that. Yeah. The second one is we kind of pick up on the quirks of the triathlon community. So people kind of get a little bit obsessed and really into it. And there are some kind of, maybe from the outside looking in, seem a bit strange, but when you're in the bubble, they're totally normal. Like people who kind of get up at 4 or 5 a.m. for their first training session of the day. People who maybe they don't see their partner very much or the rest of their family because they're just so committed. Or we sometimes do, like, we'll open questions out to the community, like, tell us you're a triathlete without telling us you're a triathlete, or show us you're a triathlete without showing us you're a triathlete. And it's like kind of picking up on the humor and the quirks. And for example, in 2020 during COVID, there were so many creative ways that people tried to keep training and things that we like to showcase. That I'm sure you guys probably did similar, but that kind of twist of the humor of it is quite a good one. And then inspiring stories. So we try to when people sign up for an Ironman, they can like let us know if there's a specific story behind them signing up, if they're doing it for a cause, if they have any kind of special journey that they've been on. And then we pick out a few stories and we showcase them. So if someone's had something traumatic happen, or an accident, or it could be something positive, but how Ironman has like changed their life essentially. And we like to showcase those stories. Maybe we create some content with them, or we get them to share their own user generated content. But we really like to help that, and it really inspires other people through those stories. And then finally, we have a few different programs. So we have we call it the All World Athlete Program. So if you do more than 2 of our events, so if you do a third, then you become a member of the All World Athlete Program, which is like an exclusive club, and you get a gold coloured hat for the swim with All World Athlete on the side, so everyone knows you're an All World Athlete. Yeah, and you get other benefits. For example, I think you get priority registration, you get priority bike racking on site, a few other things like that. And we have a kind of similar thing for tri clubs. So if tri clubs bring a certain number of people to our events, then they get some benefits as well. And we also have kind of tri club specific awards and podiums, and they have their own little like competitions within the tri clubs, which is quite fun. Luce?
And Strava, what do they do to motivate consumers to complete challenges?
Oh, I mean, there's too many to go through. I'll just pick a few of my favorites. So if I was a brand, there are a couple of key different ways that I would work with Strava. So one is by creating a Strava club. So it's a bit like brands have a Facebook page or an Instagram account where they can have their own Strava club, and people can follow that club. So they'll have, some of our clubs, like Nicole, have 500,000 followers in their club, and it's like a little interactive community of athletes, of really like-minded athletes, and you can create events, you can just blog posts, content platform, basically a bit like Facebook and Instagram, as I said. So that's one way, and it's totally free as well, free of charge for the brands. So that's definitely something to make use of. And then secondly, we do partner challenges on Strava. So a brand like such as, I don't know, Nicole, as I said, again, I mean, it could have been more imaginative. They can set up a challenge with us. So for example, over Christmas, we're working with Brooks, and it's like, 24K over 24 days. So they're challenging people to run 24K over the Advent period in December. And you can sign up. We have a challenge gallery on our platform, and you can sign up to whatever challenges you want. And it's just like a nice little motivating tool for you to work towards. And then once you have completed the challenge, if you manage to complete it successfully, you are eligible to redeem a reward that the brand offers. So sometimes it's like an entry into a prize draw to win a big prize. Sometimes it's a discount code for money off a product. Yeah, some brands do some really, really cool prizes. We actually worked with Red Bull Germany a couple of months ago with Ironman. Did a joint a really difficult challenge was to complete an Ironman distance over a weekend. So obviously, like, not very many people signed up and completed the challenge, because it's pretty tough to complete that distance over a weekend. But the prize was for a training experience at Red Bull HQ in Austria. So yeah, which was amazing. But then on the other range, you've got, like, run 5K in October and you'll win like a discount code. Like, there's such a range of different things. But it's just really nice for people to have something to motivate them that is already really accessible in the challenge gallery, because some people struggle to kind of figure their own, what their own goals and challenges are going to be. So it's very, like, Strava just has it all on the platform, and it's fun, and you can, like, get some great prizes and stuff. So yeah, those are probably the two top ways that we would work with brands. But we also sponsor a lot of events and work with, like, athletes, as Jess said, like pro athletes, but also just like influencing people with great stories, everyday athletes who've done something quite remarkable. We really like to kind of promote those on our platform as well. So yeah.
That kind of leads me on to my next question, which is, how does Strava create a sense of community and togetherness in sport? So that's why the platform is used, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. So I think historically Strava's been seen as a bit of a activity upload, and that's about it. But it's actually, I find myself scrolling. Obviously, I work for Strava, but scrolling through Strava, seeing what my friends have been doing, what have they been running, what events have they been doing. You can follow pro athletes as well, which is so inspiring. So you can see, like, what they're like, how they're training, and it's quite, like, fun as well. You can write fun comments under your uploads, and it's really made to be interactive and like a supportive community. And you can click through. So if I've seen Jess has done this really cool ride, I can click on her activity and I can go and do that ride myself if I wanted to, or I can, like, click through to see what event it was. Like, oh, that triathlon looks great, and you can click through to that triathlon page. So it's really good for, like, discovery of new routes and new events, as well as, just like what your your community of friends, but also community of wider athletes, pros as well. It's really, really great in that sense.
Cool. Which type of media does Ironman benefit from most, and what would you recommend for promoting triathlon for us?
Do you mean what exactly do you mean?
So does it benefit, do you like videos, or is it just posts for signing up, or what's kind of attracting people to go, I want to do a triathlon?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're doing a lot more longer form content now than we ever have. So for example, when we're looking at the inspiring stories, so we've recently been following a guy called Chris Nickage, who's the first person with Down syndrome to complete an Ironman, and he's trying to get to Kona. Sorry, I'm just going to cancel that. He's trying to race in Kona, etc. So longer form pieces for that. But then we do use Facebook as our main social platform, Facebook and Instagram. So obviously there we would cut down any kind of content to under a minute. But short form videos, and we quite often, like, highlight the race destination. If it's a really cool or really beautiful race location, then we'll use a lot of that kind of imagery. Motivational quotes, maybe on a graphic, and a lot on the pro athletes as well, because people like to know what the pros are doing and use like their tips and things. So we create graphics with, like, visuals of the pros, and we see that's pretty that works pretty well. And then also we do tend to sell out of our races quite fast. So we do also kind of look at that angle of, you know, we've got this many entries to go. You know, you don't want to miss out on this opportunity as another angle as well.
One more question.
Yeah, probably one more. So how can Reese Leisure effectively encourage our customers to use Strava prior to and during the event?
How can we encourage athletes to use Strava during the event?
Yeah, and just prior to it, and just try to promote it.
Prior to it, I would just say, you know, in terms of just helping motivate your training, and it's also like you can log all your training activities as well, and you can follow other athletes who are also signed up to that event. You can join clubs with like-minded athletes. You know, there'll be lots of people with the same common goal, and it's just nice to have that community feel to it. During the event itself, usually you'd be wearing some kind of device like a smartwatch, a Garmin, that would then automatically upload your activities to Strava after the event. It's not really something that you can use live unless you're allowed to take like a mobile phone or something out with you. Having said that, if you are following a route and you're using Strava for that, you can follow a route on Strava. And it will give you guidelines on elevation and what your average time is and how much distance you have left. But usually people would just take a smart watch or a bike computer or something out with them.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. It's been great. I've learned a lot, and we've definitely got a lot to give out to our triathletes, our first timers, because our event's coming up in May next year, which we're really looking forward to. So, yeah, thank you. That was so good. We've learned so much.
Great.